So I grew up in this big family, and as a result, our house was kind of always messy, which was understandable because there's like 1,000 of us. And I remember whenever company was coming over, there was sort of this mad dash to try to clean the house, which usually looked more like shoving stuff under beds or into closets. But I noticed something as I got older, that when family was coming over, there wasn't nearly the frantic panic to clean stuff up because it was family. It was like, oh, that's just Aunt so-and-so or Uncle so-and-so. I remember that really kind of resonating. Like, when it's family, they're okay with the mess. And that idea for me has always been so compelling because I've spent a lot of my life trying to pretend that this mess wasn't what it was, or to clean this up in certain contexts or around certain people. But as I experienced more and more the depth of intimacy and closeness, people that see me even in the depths of my messiness and yet still loved me, it awoke something in my heart that I didn't realize hadn't been awoken before. And there's this really beautiful story in Luke's gospel that talks about this son who kind of wanted to do his own thing, so he asks his dad for his inheritance, and he sort of goes off, and his life kind of unravels a bit. He just sort of blows all the money until he finds himself eating with a bunch of pigs, and he has this moment of awareness, like, my life has become a mess. If I go back to my dad, I'll beg just to be a servant in his household, and maybe he'll take me back. So he returns home, and the passage says that while he was a long way off, the father ran to the son, like must have been looking, waiting for his son. So as the son tries to kind of give him his pitch, begging to be a servant in his household, the father almost seems to like cut him off and say, my son has returned, and he puts a robe on him and a ring and sandals and throws this massive party. And I think that's kind of the whole idea of the beauty of the mess. It's that in the mess, we experience grace and forgiveness that we could never possibly earn or deserve on our own. And I think everyone's felt the pain of trying to clean up our own mess, but I don't know that the point of Christianity is to color within the lines. I think it's to experience the joy of coloring in general. There's this passage in the book of Proverbs 14. It says, if you want a clean stable, don't have any oxen. But if you want to experience the harvest, well, that's going to take some cattle. And I think there's a great harvest that all of us have the opportunity to be a part of, but often we're more content trying to keep everything nice and orderly and neat, even though beneath the surface our lives may look like a mess. And I don't know about you, but like anytime I work with wood or paint and someone walks into that workstation, the response is usually something like, what is up with this mess? But to me, it doesn't look like a mess because I know what it's becoming. I know what we're working toward. And I can't help but think that God feels that same way with our lives, that sometimes when we're in the midst of a messy life or a messy season, it maybe just looks like chaos. But I wonder if God isn't maybe saying to us that this may look like a mess now, but I see what you're becoming. I want to lead you into a greater depth and fullness of life. And it's that in that mess that we realize just how much God loves us.